Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have not uploaded a video in a very long time, but here I am. It's been probably a year since I've uploaded a full-length video, and I've privated like all of my videos. But anyways, so I just finished volume 2 of Stranger Things season 5, and I have some thoughts. Now, there's a reason why I try not to get into the fandom before I watch something, because I've been seeing a lot of people say Dustin and Steve's fight was like very unnecessary, and Will's coming out scene was like so badly written, and it's just been a bad season in general. And I have to be honest, I like completely disagree. So to preface a lot of this, I'm just gonna say my opinions on BYLER. I am a huge BYLER shipper. I think it absolutely needs to be endgame. It is endgame, but I don't hate my 11. I kind of do. I think that 11 needs to be her own person, and like she was literally like grew up in a lab and knows like nothing about life. I think she doesn't need to be in a relationship, and if she does, I don't think that Mike is that person for her to be with, because obviously he has some issues and she has some issues, and I just think she doesn't need to be in a relationship. And I think Mike and Will would be really good for each other. Mike has always been there for Will, and there's just been a lot of like so much proof that both Mike and Will have feelings for each other, and this episode 7 obviously confirmed that Will has feelings for Mike, that wasn't confirmed for you before. Yeah, but anyways, let me get into it. And first of all, I'm going to start with Dustin and Steve's fight. So I've been seeing a lot of people say, oh, Dustin and Steve, their fight was so unnecessary and like not good and had no point. And I like definitely disagree with that. That was one of the things that made me cry like so hard. Like, and also a lot of people saying that Dustin isn't a good character this season, which is like, what did you expect? He obviously looked up to Eddie like so much, and Eddie was like a huge role model for him and like his favorite person probably. And Eddie like pretty much just died in his arms, which would be like, can you imagine like your favorite person dying in your arms and you can do nothing about it? So of course he's going to be a lot different. He's going through grief, and people cope and grieve differently, and it looks like Dustin's way of grieving and coping is like shutting down and building up this defensive wall. And Steve kind of goes and attacks him and Eddie in their fight. So obviously Dustin is going to respond the way he did, because, you know, he's Dustin. Why wouldn't he respond like that? And that fight, I think, was really, really important for them to be able to work things out and for them to grow as characters even. Because then after that, just like a little bit after that, Dustin is like just starts crying because he doesn't want to lose Steve. And if they both die, I think they're honestly both gonna die. But that fight was just so important to both of them, and I don't think that they would have been able to make up and fix their problems without that fight happening. They both said things that were wrong, and to be honest, they were just both blaming Eddie's death on the other person when it was really nobody's fault. Okay, now the big thing, Will Byers' coming out scene. Again, I've been seeing a lot of people say it was a really bad coming out scene. Like, what are the Duffer Brothers even writing? Do they know how queer people work? And in normal circumstances, it would be like, yeah, that was a horrible coming out scene. Just a gay kid in the 80s coming out to pretty much everybody that is in his life at one time, that's crazy. Like, even I wouldn't do that. But you have to think about the circumstances, because Will, he said he was like, Vecna was in his mind and like made him think about this future where he came out to everyone and they didn't accept him, and he eventually ended up growing to be alone, and that's like not a very fun thing to think about. So his coming out scene kind of had to be rushed and kind of had to be forced, because if he didn't come out to everybody, then he would go into the battle with Vecna not knowing if his friends would truly love and accept him for who he was, and that would be like on his mind the entire time he was fighting. Like, it had to be done that way Will could have peace of mind and would be able to fight Vecna to the fullest extent that he could. And there's been a lot of BYLER doubt in me and everyone else when Will was like, oh, Mike is my Tammy. I realized that Mike is my Tammy. Well, he didn't say Mike, but we know it's Mike. Mike knows it's Mike. Everyone knows it's Mike. Like, it's so incredibly obvious, and the Duffer brothers confirm that Mike knows that it is in fact him that Will is crushing on. So, I cried so much during Will's coming out scene because it was really emotional, and also because I kind of thought BYLER was not happening. But after thinking about it for a little bit, I think that we have a shred of hope. Because if Mike was Will's Tammy, then we're comparing Mike to someone that was not in Robin's life, like, at all. It was really just a hallway crush. And, like, Robin didn't even talk to Tammy. Meanwhile, Mike is pretty much Will's everything. He's his best friend. They've been best friends since, like, kindergarten. And he's always been there, and Will literally describes him as the heart of the group. So I think Will comparing Mike to Tammy is not really a fair comparison, because they're two completely different people, and their circumstances and situations do not match up with each other at all, as well as him calling Mike just a crush. Mike, no, he was not just a crush. Will was, 100% in love with Mike. And if he was just a crush, and he had gotten over him, and he was like, oh, he's just my Tammy, then why, all those times, why would he talk to Robin about, how do you know those signs? How do you, hint to someone? How do you know if they want to date? If he didn't actively want to be with a certain person, or actively want to try to show someone, especially when after his first conversation with Robin about what kind of signals, Robin's like, oh, a brush of the knee, a bump of the elbow, a shared look, and then, right after that, we have Will, playfully shoving Mike, and Robin kind of just clocking them, I know what you are. It just doesn't make any sense. Another thing that I've heard has been confirmed is that the painting in season 4 is going to be addressed. And if you don't remember, the painting, Will made Mike a painting, and he gave it to him in what everyone just calls the van scene in season 4, but he doesn't tell Mike that it's the words he says aren't coming from him. He says that the words are, about 11. 11 is, 11 needs you, 11, you're the heart of everything, and 11 loves you so, so, so much, when really those are Will's words. And 11 knows, he says 11 asked him to make the painting, when 11 did not ask him to make that painting. And what I'm kind of hoping is that it'll be brought up, and Mike's gonna be something about, oh, that painting you tried to commission, yeah, I don't know. And 11's gonna be I didn't ask Will to make you a painting. And then they're gonna go, have a huge fight in the rain, and then realize that they're both in love with each other, and then kiss, and then everyone gets a happy ending and nobody dies. But that is kind of reaching out on a limb here, and I don't know what's gonna happen. I still have just a slight sliver of hope for BYLER. I doubted a lot more than I did before episode 7, but I still have some hope, and I guess we'll just have to see how it goes on Wednesday. And yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the most recent episodes. I thought they were really, really good. I cried so much, I had a headache. It was just insane, and it wasn't even that sad. It was just so emotional. Max and Holly's scene where Max is you are Holly the heroic, that's not someone else, that is you. And then Max waking up, and Dustin and Steve's fight, and then them also making up, and Will's coming out. That was just so emotional and so beautifully written, and I'm really excited to see where the Duffer Brothers take it, and I am not prepared for the finale, but I've also heard that it's going to be like 3 hours long, and I think that will be enough time to wrap it up if cards are played correctly. But that's all I have to say about it. Thank you for watching my video. Like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.